This is Tehachapi. Sit back and relax as Key, Corey, Greg, and Ashley talk about what's happening in and around Tehachapi.
It's Tehachapi time. Key, Budge, Ashley Whitmore today. Ashley, how are you?
I'm doing well. Key, how are you?
I'm doing good. Today, we have invited in guests from TVRPD, and we're going to talk about all things with our local Parks and Rec department, things that are coming up this summer, and the season is underway already. So joining us today, we've got Corey, Taylor, and Brenda. Welcome to Tehachapi.
Thanks for having us.
Corey, you're a veteran here. You've returned. This is probably the third or fourth time you've been on the show, but you've brought in 2 new members of your team. Why don't you go ahead and introduce them to us and the community?
Yes, we have Taylor Davis here. She's our facility supervisor. She also is the person in charge of our Bright Lake, so she handles all that, all the staff and the camp hosts out there. And then we have Brenda Gonzalez, our recreation manager, who does all things recreation and events and all things under that.
All the fun stuff.
And we're breaking Brenda into podcast in general.
Yes.
Because when we were talking initially, she goes, "How do you listen to a podcast?" So we're really we're gonna teach you. So not only this is your first podcast, probably you're gonna ever. Are you gonna listen to this later?
Yeah, I want to. Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, so this will be the first podcast
That was
you
a
probably
good answer.
ever download and listen to, and we're gonna convert you into a podcast listener. But Taylor, you listen to the murder mystery crime solving podcasts.
Yes.
So you're already hooked on podcasts.
Oh, I love them.
Okay, good. All right, so it's good. We've got a veteran podcast listener. We've got a new one. And then, of course, Corey's just an old-time guest.
Appreciate that.
All right. So here we are. We're in May. It's 2023. You guys, the last couple of years has been one of those, it's just been weird and wacky, slow down, stop. You can't do this, you can't do that. And then you got to pick things up again, which you did last year. How was that for you? Were people coming back in droves, or was it tough to bring the community back into our parks?
It wasn't tough. I mean, people never stopped coming to our parks, and then from a program standpoint, they just couldn't wait to get back. Like once we started offering programs again, they signed up immediately. Basketball, all of our summer events, like it was like we never stopped. People were just waiting to get back into it, and we couldn't wait to start offering them again.
That's a very true statement. I know we were waiting for basketball to start back up.
No, it's been fun this last year. This was Brenda's real first experience running the department, and youth basketball is such a beast. You're dealing with 50 some odd teams and 10 kids on each team, and so dealing with all that, scheduling multiple facilities, and I mean, Brenda can tell you how hard it was, but it was a very successful season. I'm very proud of her.
So that means, you had 50 teams, 10 players, that's 500 kids, and then, which is probably the easy part, it's the 1,000 parents that are probably the more challenging part.
Yes.
And I say that coming from a coaching perspective, having coached in youth sports for years and years and years, it's always the parents. It's the kids you love to deal with. It's the parents that kind of go, okay, I need a break.
No, absolutely, yes.
So with basketball, has it finished, wrapped the season?
Yes, we ended in March.
Okay, so now you can kind of look in the rearview mirror, feel good about where the basketball program finished.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes, it was definitely a puzzle for me, and it was not easy. There was a lot of sleepless nights and working weekends and staying up late, trying to make sure I had everything right. But once we started, it went pretty well. The ending was great. It was definitely a relief. I was very happy when it was over and that everything went well. And then we are now diving into our summer, which is very, very busy.
And I know my grandson is playing coach's pitch. So the season has started. The kids are out there at Meadowbrook having a good time.
Yes.
And just like typical, Corey, when you play ball, I mean, it's cold. Here we are in May, and we have these freezing cold days that only seem to happen on Thursday and Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
On your days.
Yeah, exactly. And what is it, Wednesday for T-ball, right? Tuesday.
Never question buying the sweatshirt.
That's right.
Just always do it.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a Tehachapi standard. Mm-hmm. Well, good. So we've got, and how's that program going so far with that getting kicked off with T-ball and coach's pitch?
It's going pretty well. We just had picture day on Saturday. It was a little chilly, and but that's been successful. And then we also have our youth volleyball that's also going on right now, and that's going great as well.
Excellent. Now, what are some of the things as far as program-wise that are coming up? Since those are already in session, they're started. What's next? What's around the corner?
For our youth, we have our summer adventure camp coming up. That will start immediately after the week after school ends, so June 12th, run for 8 weeks. And then we have our swimming pool. We have swimming lessons starting June 12th as well. And then we have our adult volleyball league, adult softball leagues, and those are all taking place in the summer as well.
Now, if people want to sign up for those programs, how do they go about doing so?
So they will have to visit our website or come into our office. They can visit our website at tvrpd.org. There is a women's, a men's, and a co-ed softball league. And then they do have to come up with their own team. We do not put teams together, so that's something that people need to keep in mind. And then they have to register as a team for those.
And are there still spots available for like the youth camp and everything?
Yes, we still have openings for those. We actually just opened our swim lesson registration yesterday, and some of them are filling up already. It's on a high demand.
Yeah. And for summer camp, we take them all summer long. We do cap certain age groups, but typically you're able to sign up for the week at a time or certain days. So we have that flexibility.
Now, from a parent's perspective who's had their kids in the program for years, they're kind of aged out now and everything, but they loved the fact that each of your weeks were themed. So can you tell kind of people a little bit about that and kind of how that works for the kids?
Yes, so every week is themed. As of this year, our first week is our Summer Sensations theme. We have a Harry Potter, a Mythbusters, Rock and Road Trip in the USA, Halloween, Blishy, Splashy, Color Wars, and Summer Nostalgia. Those are our themes for this summer. And the kids have a great time. The whole week is themed. And then every Friday, they either can go on a field trip that goes along with the theme, or they do something fun in-house. And they definitely go all out, and the kids really love it.
Yeah, it was definitely a highlight, I think, for my kids each summer. And as they got a little older, I gave them, a couple weeks where they could choose a week to go. And there were some summers I had to send them all summer. So they loved it.
Well, there's nothing like a testimonial. You're able to talk about from the parents' point of view and through your kids. And you said your kids have aged out of the program, but you're able to look back and the success that Ashley saw with her kids. That's got to make you feel good, Corey, that, parents, and they look forward and the kids look forward, to the programs you guys put together.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, that's one of our favorite programs. I mean, it's been growing steadily every year, and we love to see the kids that come back from the summer before, because that means that we did something right. And it's the memories they make, and it's the kids they didn't see since last summer because they go to different schools or whatever. And then when they see each other in the summer, it's just like back like it was, like the time never stopped. Or like when they just got to go the next day and they saw them again. So we'd love to hear that. We'd love to bring that program back. It's a testament to our staff and our planning. Our adventure camp director, Sierra, does a great job planning. She starts in January, and it's a lot of planning to figure out the themes, and then all the field trips, the costs, all the coordinating, the hiring of staff. There's 20 some odd counselors that are coming on for that. So it's a lot of moving parts. So it's a testament to great staffing and a great quality program that we had it years and years ago, and then it went away. And so that was one of the big, I think the first year that we brought it back in 2017, 16, we had like about 20 kids for 1 week, and now we're clear over 120 in a week. So it's one of our greatest programs.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Love hearing that. Mm-hmm. And I love seeing, like, when you tell the stories and you're talking about, Ashley, you're talking about your kids' experience, you're recalling those moments, when you're talking to them and they get to pick their theme. I think that's neat, because then it truly had an impact, something that you remember.
Oh, yeah. And they started when you brought the program back. I want to say 2017 was their first year. And then up until about, I think, right before COVID, they were still going.
Taylor, what projects do you have? What do you got your fingers involved in that's coming up?
Well, I'm really involved in the fishing derby right now.
That's one of the most popular things that you guys do. You probably have, I'm betting that it's one of the most well-attended events that you guys put together every year.
Well, we haven't had it since what?
This will be our first time having it in 4 years.
Yeah.
Since 2019.
19.
Yeah.
So we're signed up to go.
Are you?
We've
All right.
got a
Yay.
camping spot and everything. Well, I shouldn't say we're. My husband and kids are signed up for the actual fishing derby part, because I won't touch the fish. But I have my book ready to go. But they're super excited, and I know my daughter was going on about some prizes she's expecting to win. But can you tell us kind of what those prizes are and how that all works?
So we'll have 3 different age range prizes. So first, second, and third. What is it? It's 0 to 9, and then 10 to 15, and then 15 and up we'll do first, second, and third. But we're also doing a lot of raffle prizes too, and we have some really great raffles this year.
That's awesome. They'll be excited.
We got a fishing kayak donated. Yeah.
Wow.
So it's going to be really great.
These girls hustled. They went store to store, getting donation after donation, and then tell them quickly about Tractor Supply. They were just going in there for a small box of giveaways and.
Well, Tractor Supply was great. They were so helpful.
Shout out Tractor Supply.
Yeah, for sure. And then I just went in there and I was, with Brenda, and the manager had committed to helping us out with donations. And so I said, hey, is there any way that we can maybe throw in a kayak? And he goes, okay. And just
without
let
intention,
me pick one out. Yeah, he was just so willing to help the community. It was great.
They've got a great team over there.
It was so nice. He's like, do you want this one or do you want this one? He let me load it up and just take it. He gave us a box of really great donation stuff. So yeah, we have a lot of really cool raffle prizes this year.
I love to hear when businesses, especially like a big box, because they're across the country,
right?
But they care about their community. And that's how they really kind of show it when they help organizations put together programs and they say, absolutely, we're going to give back because we want to support, and they appreciate what they get and the business that they get. And that's the reason why you go to those stores, is because of that community interaction.
Oh, yeah. Well, and some of our sponsors even our bigger ones are little small town businesses that have made more of a name for themselves. And it's just been so great to see that they're willing to help out the
Let's plug
events.
some of them.
So I have Interior Wood Specialties. He was one of our first one. Golden Hills IT. Oh, I wish I would have brought my list. 5Cs. I have the Butcher Shop. I have HCP. I have BHE.
Mm-hmm.
I have Kern County Fire Union. We have a lot of really great sponsors this year.
It's nice to hear everyone stepping up.
Oh, it's great.
Tell them the other component of our fishing derby with the sponsors, the highest level.
Oh, so our sponsors are donating money for fish. So they'll sponsor a tagged fish. Our $1,000 sponsors are sponsoring a $1,000 tagged fish. And we haven't ever had tagged fish in our fishing derby before. And with our tagged fish, you'll have a month to catch. So if you're registered for the derby, you'll have a month to catch a tagged fish.
So not just the day of the event.
Right.
So if you register for the derby and you're in, you got first shot at the tagged fish.
Yeah.
But if they don't get caught that day, but they're still swimming around, you've still got a chance. Keep going back to Bright Lake every day.
Yes.
Until all the tags are gone.
Now, you stock it ahead of time, right?
Yes. So
what kind of fish are in there?
Well, we have multiple fish in there. So we have some bluegill, some trout. We have, I think people are catching bass, catfish. I believe there's crappie, but we are stocking with trout.
Okay.
And we're going to get stocked on the 16th. And once we're stocked, we're not letting anybody fish until the morning of the 20th.
So that's a Tuesday. So fishing stops on that Tuesday when the fish get stocked, and then no fishing, closing the lake, or closing no fishing allowed until that Saturday, so that the fish get a chance to acclimate and
takes the shock value away from the fish.
Yes.
They're traveling a long way. Where are they coming from?
They're coming from Oregon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I guess a lot of our local hatcheries were closed during the last few years of the drought, and that's one of the things that you got to do. So I'm sure the costs go up for that. That's why sponsorships have really probably play a big role in allowing this event to take place.
Yeah.
And you can pay to launch a boat out there too, correct? You do allow certain boats?
Mm-hmm. Yes, as long as there's no gas motors, you're good to go. Go ahead and put a boat out there. It's better fishing from what I hear on a boat than on the shore.
That's going to be a lot of fun. And so how do people register, or does it close? Do you have a certain amount of registrants, or is it open until even the day of?
Yeah, we're leaving it open until the Thursday before online. So you can register in the office, or you can register online at tvrpd.org. And then the Friday before, so the 19th, Brenda and I will be out there from 3:30 to 6 taking registration. And then the morning of, from 5 to 6 in the morning, we'll be taking registrations.
And I know in past years, people line up. I mean, the line to get into Bright Lake wraps all the way out to the 202.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a long, long line. That's how.
I gotta say, I thought my husband was a little crazy getting a camp spot starting
He's not.
Thursday, but I
No,
guess
it's
not.
great. No, it's It's a great idea. And we're full that week too. We have no spots available.
Okay, so camp, even dry camping?
Dry
You're full?
camping, everything. Every
Sold
spot
out.
that we have is sold out.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's great.
Okay, very good. So does that mean you can do fishing derbies maybe twice a year? Back by popular demand.
I am working on something else, but
Okay.
you'll have to wait for that.
You got. Can you tease us a little bit?
I'm seeing what I can do about having just a kids free day, but I'm hoping to get a stocking just for that.
Okay, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Well, good. Okay, so that's just right around the corner. We've got other projects that you guys are involved in that are coming up here in May. Let's roll over to Memorial Day. I'm not sure we've got recorded. We talked with Kevin Davey from the American Legion, and we've got a podcast that we're going to release. So I'm not sure if it's going to be right after this podcast gets released or just before. But Brenda, I know you're right in the middle of the coordination of this Memorial Day parade and also the ceremony. So let's talk about that.
Correct. So our Memorial Day parade and ceremony take place on Memorial Day, which is May 29th this year, and that's a Monday. The parade will begin along Mulberry and F Street is where kind of the setup will be, and they'll go along F Street. It will end at Central Park, and the parade begins at 10 o'clock in the morning. Once we make it to Central Park, we'll have a ceremony starting immediately after at about 11 o'clock, and we have a great committee. There's a lot of people involved, not just ourselves. I'm kind of just, helping with the coordination, but most of the work comes from that committee. And I'm kind of new, so I don't know every single group that's involved, but we could definitely not do it without them.
It's a veteran-led.
Correct.
I mean, I know, I sit on that committee, along with yourself, but we let them drive the ship.
Correct.
They decide, and it's the American Legion really at the helm, the VFW, all the American Legion Auxiliary. Yeah, and like I said, we mentioned a few, and then we're going to leave off a few. But
there's I know there's Blue Star Mothers is another one.
Daughters of the American Revolution.
Yes.
And I'm drawing blanks as soon as I try to pull it, just like you trying to pull your sponsors, Taylor. I'm sorry, I'm doing the same thing.
I should have brought my list.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, they do most of the work. I mean, I put in the application for the parade. I make sure. I do some of the marketing, and everyone helps share. We set up for the ceremony, but for the most part, it is very veteran-led, committee-based, and like I said, we definitely couldn't do without them.
If anyone has not been to one of the Memorial Day events, it's very powerful. This is a ceremony. This is a very solemn occasion. We're remembering those that sacrificed and paid the ultimate sacrifice and didn't come home. So many of these veterans, it's powerful. You'll see it in their face. You see it in how they carry themselves and the ceremony and being to the military attention that it deserves to show the respect for those that didn't make it home and for the families of the fallen. So it's powerful, and it's, from the parade to the ceremony. So if you get a chance, bring the kids out. It's just one of those things that we have freedoms based on these Americans that sacrificed. So I really want people to think about going to Central Park or find a spot along the parade route and take it in and understand what it's all about. But I know you're right in the middle of all this coordination. Like you said, it's veteran-led, but it's thanks to you. You're the one that does the coordination. You're the one that puts the agendas together. You're doing the applications. So all of that falls on your shoulders to make it easier for them and having one central point. So thank you for doing that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I really enjoy it. I like this kind of stuff. I think it's important. And I bring my kids every single year, and they help me out with something as simple as just setting up the chairs for the ceremony and taking them down. And I think that it's a great event, great for them to really hear and understand the meaning behind Memorial Day. So I really enjoy it.
Yeah, it's not just a 3-day weekend.
Yeah.
There's a meaning for it. So let's transition to what's coming up after Memorial Day as we go further into summer. What other things do we have out on the slate, Corey?
I think another one, if you want to touch really quickly on our movies in the park, that's always a really fun one.
Yeah, so our movies in the park begins on June 9th. We do it every other week. We do 5 showings. Our first one, like I said, is on a Friday, June 9th. Typically, they're on Thursdays, but June 8th is the high school graduation, so we do not want to interfere with that. Friday, June 9th, we are showing Minions, The Rise of Guru. This will take place at Meadowbrook Park. This great free community event is sponsored by Alto One, and thanks to them, we were able to put this on and have great quality screening so that everyone can see. We're showing Indian in the Cupboard as a little throwback movie that will be on June 22nd. July 6th, we are showing The Jungle Book. This is the original 1967 version. We are doing like a throwback Disney movie. July 20th, we're doing Top Gun Maverick. And all 4 of those are in Meadowbrook. And we will end on Tuesday, August 1st with Puss in Boots, The Last Wish. And that one is taking place at Central Park in conjunction with National Night Out.
Oh, very good. Yes. So National Night Out, that's first Tuesday in August?
Correct, yes.
Okay. I know that's something that I got to start looking at and working with our police department about making sure that we're all squared away and have that set up. But I know that's always kind of the capper to it, is the having the movie in the park.
Yeah, it's great. The kids love it, and we usually go out there and set up a booth. So it's really neat seeing the kids out there, and then just ending it with a movie. And I thought this was a great movie to end our summer series with.
Very good. So do you have any other projects? I mean, I know we've got projects we want to talk about. Any other programs or events? Oh, how about July 4th? I know you guys are going to be right in the middle of July 4th with us.
Yes, so we have our annual All-American 5K taking place on July 4th. Registration is open online. You can also come into our office and register. That costs $45. It includes an event shirt and pancake breakfast. And then we have a mass start of 7 in the morning. That one's our 4th of July, so we do this every single year. After that, we have our annual Mountain Gallop 5K, which is the same weekend as the Mountain Festival. We are doing that on August 19th. Again, it is 7 a.m. mass start. We do also give event T-shirts, and that one is $35. Both runs are chip-timed. Everyone will receive a finisher's medal along with top 3 overall male and female finishers, and then top 3 per age division.
Okay, so when we say chip timed, I'm thinking back to my days when I used to actually run and do physical activity like that. There was no chip timing. So let's tell people exactly what a chip timing means.
Okay, so we have someone come out, and everyone's race bib has a little chip in it. So once you cross the starting line, it begins your time. And then once you come back, when you cross the line at finish, then it records your finish time. So this all goes into a system that tells us what your overall time was to complete the 5K. And then it will split up by age division and let us know who were the first 3 finishers. And this is all in the system. It will have your name attached to your race bib.
So that's nice, because then you don't have to worry about crowding if you're trying to win, you don't have to crowd the starting line and knock people over to try and get through. You could be at the back of the pack and your clock doesn't start till you cross the line.
Correct. And it's really neat because they have like a little QR code. So as soon as you finish running, you just while you're waiting around, you just scan it and it'll show you your time and where you're placed. So it's really neat. And
so just because you're first to pass the finish line doesn't necessarily mean you're the winner.
That's right.
Okay.
But
Does it know if you throw in a shortcut?
If you cheated?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, should I not have asked that?
Yes, we'll absolutely know if you cheat.
Yes.
Tracks you
the whole way.
Sure.
I pick up an Uber a block away and say, just let's swing me around a corner here, and I'll wait about 20 minutes, and I'll
Now you're
I'll
giving
run
people
across.
ideas.
I know. I was just thinking about an episode of The Office where I watched those. They did that. But so that's going to be fun, and having the 5Ks. Is it suitable for walking too? So if there's a family that wants to push a stroller or something like that, they can participate.
Yeah, we have people who who will just go and walk it. And
Strollers.
yeah.
People dress up. They bring their kids out. It's not just super competitive. We wanted to make it very friendly, family friendly morning, and bring your family out. People run with their dogs, I think, and strollers. So it's for everyone.
Okay, so it's all inclusive.
And it's not, it's like you said, it's not necessarily, there are people who go out there and their goal is to win.
Right.
But everyone gets a finisher's medal. So you're going to get an event shirt and a medal regardless for participating. And then if you're in it for the competition, then you will also get another medal based on where you placed.
Are you in, Ashley?
No. Okay. No, unless there's an Uber waiting around the corner. No.
Okay, all right. We'll share an Uber.
Can I? Yeah, I was gonna say, can I get in with that?
Yeah, right. My daughter, she 100% will be all about it, but no, she did not get that from me.
Okay, so any other programs that we want to mention, or are we ready to roll into some projects?
Yeah,
you guys have been
just a couple programs going on,
there's-
but I think that's about it.
okay.
Well, I do want to kind of go over our pool.
Oh yeah, let's talk about that. That's one thing that I know, talking to you, Corey, that you get phone calls probably almost on a daily basis,
we do.
definitely
We sure
weekly, wanting to know about what's going on with the pool.
We sure do.
All right.
Absolutely. It's very, very high demand, very popular, and we got a lot of requests to have it open year round. And unfortunately, that's not really doable, but we did open our pool in April. Right now, our current schedule is just up until June 9th. So we offer morning lap swim every Tuesday and Thursday from 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. We offer evening lap swim every Monday and Wednesday from 5 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. And then we also do water aerobics. We have shallow water aerobics on Mondays and Wednesdays from 7 to 8 p.m. And then deep water aerobics on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 7 to 8 p.m. as well. And then our summer schedule will be released soon, but that will begin June 12th. As soon as summer starts, and we'll, like we mentioned earlier, we'll be offering swim lessons, which registration has already opened. We will have open rec swim available, and then hopefully we can offer a little more lap swim. But as of right now, that's what we're looking at. We do sell punch passes. You get 10 entries for $40. You can purchase that at the pool or at our office. And that gets you into anything. Any of our programs at the pool, for the exception of, or not, I wouldn't say programs, activities, like lap swim, water aerobics, open swim. Otherwise, it is $5 entry fee per activity. If you do that at the pool, it is cash only. Yeah, that's pretty much what we have for now. It's really staff-based. We have most of our guards, if not all of them, are in school. So they're all young. Everything's based on their availability. We did do a lifeguard certification class in March where we certified lifeguards. And they come from everywhere. They can, come and take our class so that they can go work in Bear Valley or Stallion Springs or with us. The March one was pretty successful for us. We were able to hire most of those guards. And then we just did one this weekend as well. So, we only got 2 of those from this weekend, but yeah, it was great.
Are you still looking for more lifeguards?
We always are. We're in a good place right now. We're not in dire need, but the more the better, because last year we had, I believe, 13 guards overall, and they were working. They were working split shifts, multiple shifts a day. They really worked hard. So, again, it's one of those things that if they're experienced, is always very, very helpful, especially with our swim lessons. But, we will never turn people down. I believe in the last years ago, we used to have like 20 guards or more. And since I've been here, we've struggled a little bit, but we've been able to manage.
Are you doing another certification, or are you done with that for the year?
We're done with that for now, yes.
I just wanted to shout out Brenda because she said we certified. That means she did it. Like she has her certification in certifying lifeguards. So it's a pretty special thing to be able to do it in-house. Years ago, we had to bring in an instructor to certify our guards, and to be able to do it in-house is something that's allows us to do so
a lot
much.
of flexibility.
Yeah. So our aquatics manager Andrew just got certified. So to be able to do stuff like that in-house is pretty special and unique.
Yeah, not to mention the lifeguard classes are typically about 2 to 3 days, depending on the hours you're able to do. So it's not just a one-day thing. It really takes a couple days.
Yeah, you mean you actually have to attend the class?
Yes.
Yeah, and you actually have to pay attention, probably pass written as well as practical lab.
It's a very serious certification. I mean, we have a lot of younger kids doing it, but it's there's a lot to it. I mean, they're in charge of lives. They're in charge of a lot of kids in there, and they have to. It's good because because we're certifying in-house, they're also gonna, like Brenda is also their supervisor, so they know how they're performing in the class, and then she's also gonna be managing how they function on a day-to-day to make sure that they are really paying attention to what they need to be paying attention to, because it's a very, very important job. There's a lot of kids in the water, and a lot of activities going on, and stuff can happen in an instant, so you really have to be on a high alert, and you have to be very well trained.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity to get a good first impression from them. The fact that I will be their supervisor and I get to see how they do in the class. I think that's very neat and very helpful, and it's fun.
All right. Well, very good. All right. Now, Corey, I know you guys have turned some dirt on some things, and you've got plans for other things. So let's dig into that a little bit. So
yeah, we've done some projects. We would have completed some of these projects that I'm about to go into earlier, but we got some weather the last few months, and it kind of, I mean, I know the city has felt it, you guys have felt it as well, as some rain delays on some projects, but we were able to pull the trigger on some and finish them. And one of the ones that I really wanted to get done before the summer was our a project at West Park. We finally installed a toddler playground. We've been missing one for the last several years, and we were finally able to put that in to complete our older playground along with the toddler-sized playground. I think that component has been missing from our park for a long time, to a point where the park doesn't get used by that demographic, obviously, because there isn't a playground dedicated for them. And so to be able to put that in, I think it brings a whole new dynamic to our park. It brings a whole other age group, and I think that's really special. In addition to that, we replaced our old swing set. Love it. It still is functional, but we needed something bigger and just new. It's served its life out there, and I think that there's a spot for it. I think we might be taking it out to Bright Lake maybe, and it's in good shape. But the one we put in at West Park is brand new. It has it has 2 regular swings, 2 toddler swings. It has the mommy and me expression swing, so mom and her toddler can swing together, and then a all accessible ADA swing. So that's really special, and that was made possible by Cheers of Charity. And so we have our Tehachapi Parks Foundation as our nonprofit tied to the park district, and we were able to apply for funding, and we were granted $10,000 from Cheers of Charity. So I wanted to give a special thank you to Cheers of Charity. Whenever I talk about this project, I want to just thank them, because it's a very special project, and to bring that to West Park, and there's so many other worthy nonprofits, but for us to be selected for that funding it means a lot. So to be able to add that to West Park was really special. And so we finished that project, and then also in conjunction with the fishing derby coming up, we completed a lot of. I think we're finishing up today or tomorrow, but we're doing a lot of road work out there, road maintenance to the lake, to the campground out there. The roads up there have been in rough shape in years past. It's a well attended campground. But we wanted to really put in some funds to really scrape those roads and make them smooth again, and fill in potholes and put down some road base so that it's nice and smooth. And the weather doesn't help, but if we're able to scrape that and make it more accessible, we have some nicer rigs that go out there. And the last thing you want as a person driving a nicer rig is to be going through potholes and stuff. And so gearing up for the derby and gearing up for our summer push, we invested some dollars into improving the roads out there. So that was pretty fun.
Very good.
That was pretty fun to do. So it's making a huge difference already.
And I know you mentioned you want to talk about some grants and some things that, besides with what Cheers for Charity was able to do, but some applications for improvements to facilities.
Yeah. So I was approached by Greg and Corey from the city of Tehachapi. They, as I believe your audience is well aware, you guys were successful in the first round of the Clean California through Caltrans for the new park up on Valley, and that's for a new park for that community, and that's going to be great. But the next cycle came up, and you guys went for the cycle 2, and that was for West Park, and so you guys own the drainage channel that goes through there down the middle of the park, and we have it kind of splits the park a little bit. And we have several access bridges to get across to our office to certain areas of the park. But what Jay and his team applied for was to fill that in and put that underground, which would be huge. It'd be a game changer. We could eliminate the bridges and just make the park just that much more accessible. Along with on the north side, there's 2 dead end streets that would make. They would also include some walking paths that can bring into the park as well, making it more ADA accessible, like another ADA accessible access point from those ends. And then, and so on top of that, part of that, they also approached us asking, well, what other park improvements could we include as part of this application, which is a blessing as well. I mean, they could have just done the minimum of just filling that drainage channel, but they said, while we're here, what else can we include as part of this project to make the application more attractive and to just benefit the park even more? And so one of the big ones is our restroom right there, tying it into sewer and relocating it to a better area of the park. As you know, West Park is home of Tehachapi Little League as well. And so the restroom that's there is their snack bar. And so putting that in a more central location and relocating that and also tying it into sewer would be a massive improvement and help them, help us, and help just the accessibility of that restroom. So doing that, doing sidewalk, doing some trees, and then also some lighting, some sidewalk, and just really tying that park in together. Those improvements would be incredible. And we would see that, obviously. We would feel that from day one because that's our home. Our district office is located there. But really exciting project. We're thrilled that even the city could have applied and put those funds towards a number of projects, but to pick West Park for that funding it means a lot to us. It's really exciting.
I think that drainage, when I think about it, it's like if there's any kind of, over watering or things that go on in the neighborhoods, it looks like a seasonal creek, that kind of runs through. And people think, oh, you got a seasonal creek. No, that's just the drainage for the neighborhood. So it'll be a safety improvement. Should this be granted? I mean, these things, there's a lot to it, and it gives it more accessible area. Yeah. By putting that underground, I mean, it's a wide drainage, and it gives just more, whether it's going to be grass or picnic bench, whatever is going to go there, it's just more usable space for people.
100%. We're thrilled. Just the access points, because right now there's only 3 bridges that gets you across those, but be able to walk through at any number of those points throughout that drainage channel is huge. It's huge, and the walking path that'll be right on top of that is the plan. So to really connect the south end to the north end and vice versa, to be able to go through the park on a nice path is really nice. Yeah, and
I know our teams were out doing community surveys, talking to the public out there during different programs, and just trying to get input on what they thought were the needs. So it's going to be I'm sure that application is a nice community-based, all-encompassing everyone's input to see what everyone's vision is, for that improvement. But, fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. I think announcements will be around September. So fingers crossed for that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, part of it is the outreach and finding out what the community wants. So I know that going out there and filling surveys, and it's all part of the, getting it gives, we look, and I'll kind of shift back to our eyes. We're the bureaucrats. We're the ones that sit in these government positions. We think we know what we want for the community, but you actually need to find out what the community wants. And that's one thing that these Clean California grants and other grants say, you got to get the input back from the community, because they don't see it through our eyes. They're seeing it through their eyes as the user. So I think that was a really big deal for us in that involvement, is trying to get as much input as possible for filling out applications to make sure it fills the needs of what the community is looking for.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you can put in an application and it can do X, Y, Z, but if the community doesn't know, I mean, because a lot of times grants have limitations on what you can improve. And so there's a educational component, and there's also like what are your needs, and then do those requirements meet those needs? Because so it all ties together.
All right. So I know the one thing we haven't talked about is pickleball. So,
we talk about pickleball all the time, Kate, or you do.
I do. So, Corey's here, and it was one of the first things he threw out real quick before we started recording, but since you did bring it up and put it in my mind, Corey, You know, and in all truthfulness, I do get asked this. I go, when will we look at pickleball as, and I go, and it has to be something that's done. People think, oh, we throw it up in a neighborhood park. It's not really appropriate in a neighborhood park. It's kind of more of our bigger park areas. Is there a potential, or is there anything that's out in the horizon that we might look at? I mean, I know there's a lot of moving parts with this stuff, and I'm not trying to put the hook in you, but I'm going to kind of put you in it. What are we looking at? Because it's multi-generational.
It is.
And it's the fastest growing sport in America. Where are we looking in the vision of pickleball for Tehachapi?
I'm here for it. I mean, I get weekly emails, calls about pickleball, what's going on with pickleball.
Are they all from Key?
No, but I'm sure it's from his recruits. I don't know. He's recruiting them to call in. But no, I see the need for pickleball, especially because there are no public courts, in Tehachapi Valley. I know Stallion has offered sometimes outside and inside, and Bear Valley has some offerings out there, but there's nothing inside of our valley here. And so, at the end of the day, we are here to serve and meet the needs of what the community is wanting and asking for. And so, we fill those needs as we're able to, but I definitely see it as a possibility down the road. It is expensive. There's funds involved. We want to do it the right way. We don't want to just throw lines up somewhere and call it good. We want to, if we're going to do something that is a major need, we want to take our time in planning and raise the right funds and do it all the way instead of halfway. You know what I mean? So we've gotten a quote. It's probably going to be higher by the time we ever pull the trigger on it, but it's going to take a lot of help and fundraising. But there's other things we can do in the meantime. We've offered some gym time for pickleball in the past. That's always a possibility to start up again. We also have some other flat surface concrete space that we can throw lines on in the meantime. But what we're really going to start, if we really want to do this, it'd probably be forming a committee, getting some really passionate pickleballers, and we're going to need help fundraising. Okay. I think that's what it's going to take, because we're looking at over six figures I think that if you're going to do it, I think 2 courts is not enough. I think you need 4.
Minimum
of 4. And to put that all on a one slab, we need to find the space and then get a real hard quote on that, because it's not just the concrete, it's the lines, it's the proper equipment, and
fencing,
all that stuff. Yes.
Yeah. So
to do it in the right way, that's gonna be a pretty penny, and we're here for it. But I would love to ask the community's help and do some fundraising and get some collaboration and some partnerships on this thing.
Yeah, it's growing so fast, and then my wife and I love to play in tournaments, so we travel around and play in tournaments, and it's the thing that in every community is they're trying to build courts and they're trying to figure out that space for it and the right, and I've heard people, we'll just put 1 court in. It's like, you can't. It's because when you do that, people will come, and totally. You need to turn it over, and having a minimum of 4 courts would be fantastic. And that's when we play in these tournaments, we're playing on 12 and 20 courts, and they get big, but it's, we are a tournament community. So I'll just throw that out there. Okay. That I'll even help you.
All right.
If you get to that point, and when we get it done, we'll coordinate and make this a destination for people to come and play.
Hosting leagues, our own tournaments, and
league play is a blast. Youth clinics. There's so much that you're able to do, and right now is the right time, because the industry is looking to be supportive with, maybe not funding of the courts, but supplying with, especially in the youth department, is giving paddles for youth programs and those kinds of startups, because it's growing, and it was when I can look back maybe 40 years ago when soccer was here in the United States. People, soccer's not going to take off. No, it's the fastest growing sport. And all of a sudden, soccer is, I can't find an adult that probably didn't play soccer as a kid, or at least went out there when their brothers and sisters played. And now it's like, again, kids today, what are you playing? Oh, I'm playing soccer now. And then it's just a part of the vocabulary of or the list of activities they do.
Totally.
That's what's coming. Mm-hmm. So I can hear it. I can feel the wave coming. Where do I stand on it? I'm in. All right. Good. So what else do we have? Anything else? Or we covered a lot. We talked about a lot of programs, activities, projects.
I want to make sure I mention that our All-American 5K is presented by Adventist Health Tehachapi. We absolutely could not do that without them. They have committed many years of sponsoring this event, and we are very, very thankful for their continued support. Same thing for our Mountain Gallop. We are sponsored by Waste Management. They do this every single year. And then 2 other events I did want to bring up. We have our Old Timers Reunion happening August 6th. It happens every single year for Sunday of August. And that one is also, we have sponsorship through Waste Management. They do donate the porta potties that are extremely necessary for this event. This is huge. We do it every single year. We have a wonderful committee. Again, another committee-based event that they do a lot of legwork when it comes to keeping a list of the old timers. They do all of that. So that, like I said, that's happening Sunday, August 6th. We will be sending out invitations in June for everyone on that list. And if anyone's interested or has questions, there is a new email address for contact, and that is tehachapi@gmail.com. You can RSVP there, you can ask questions there, and you can also call our office to RSVP. But it would be much easier and smoother if you could email that email.
And what's the rule? You have been here 40 years?
It's 40, yeah.
Okay.
Because I'm almost an old timer.
Make sure you get her on the invite list there.
Put her on that list. So that's old timers, and then we also have our Brews on the Mountain, our annual Brews on the Mountain. This is going to be our 3rd annual, and it is taking place on September 16th. And our event will actually start at 1 p.m. for VIP and 2 p.m. for general admission. It's $50 for general admission. That includes a tasting glass. It's $75 for VIP admission. It includes a tasting glass, a 1 hour early admission, and an event shirt. All those things, registration is open online. You are able to register for any of those things. Just want to make sure
too. Online. I put it in. I made sure.
Yeah. So we are very excited. We are hoping to grow Brews on the Mountain. Like, so this is going to be my 2nd year doing it. My first year last year was a little tricky. It was kind of in the moment. There was that transition when I took over this position, and I kind of had to just figure it out, and it was a great turnout. So this year my goal is to make it bigger and better, and come up with different things to offer during this event. So I'm currently working on that, and we hope to see everyone there.
Well, very cool. Taylor?
I want to plug my sponsors for the fishing derby. I wrote all of them down so I remembered. I have Monument Insurance, Interior Wood Specialties, Grimway, BHE, Golden Hills IT, Kern County Firefighters Union, Butcher Shop, 5 Seas Landscaping, HCP Advertisement, Jack Miller Realty, 5150 Lures, Vegetation Management Services, Ashmore Motors, and Red Tail Conveyance. And then we also have P-Dubs coming out, and they're going to have the brewery from Mountain Brewery, that the bowling. They're going to be out there as well.
Very cool.
Yeah.
They're going to be serving breakfast and lunch out
Yes. It's going to be good breakfast
It's
and
gonna be a good
lunch.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Good food.
All right, Corey, anything? We went cover to cover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a lot going on, and I just wanted to thank all my staff. They work hard. Our maintenance staff works hard. Our parks look beautiful. They make, like, our maintenance crew makes our parks a space where our recreation team can go out and put on these incredible events and programs. So it's a small team, but we help each other out, and we all have the best interests of the community. We're all serving the same people. So just wanted to thank my staff. They really care. They know that what we do matters, and just wanted to shout them out because they're great. They're awesome.
Thank you.
Aw.
Look at that. You brought smiles to their faces.
See that?
All right.
Yeah, I told my son to listen to this. I told him I was going to be on a podcast, and he's like, "Oh, for what?" And I was like, "For the city of Tehachapi." And he said, "Oh, no one cares about that. They don't listen to it." So let's prove him wrong.
Oh, okay. What's your son's
Okay,
name?
so Aiden. He's only
Aiden?
10 years old, and
Aiden, I think you know it all. But
They normally
you
do
know,
at 10.
Yeah, at 10. That's the right age. Yeah, exactly right.
How high have you gotten on the listener list or your ranking list for government podcasts?
We've been as high. We've cracked the top 50. I think we hit number 48.
I was
Oh,
going to
wow.
say, you have some
We've got a few-
awards over there.
You hear that, Aiden?
Yeah, and
Talking to you, Aiden.
Oh, yeah.
and that's global. Also, that's
Oh,
for
wow.
government agencies across the world. We've actually broke the top 50 in the Apple podcast numerous times. So
That's cool.
Yeah, and that's based on talking about things like this.
yeah.
You know, what's going on in the community, what impacts, and that just shows how many people within our community listen. No one in Tennessee cares what's happening in Tehachapi. And, you know, I want everything to be great in Tennessee. I care about Tehachapi and this community of almost 40,000 people, you know, and specifically the city where we work, but the greater community, because all our kids go to school together. We all shop in the same stores. You know, we drive on the same roads. We just happen to live in different communities. So these and the programs that you have impact everybody. So that's the reason why it's important to talk about it.
And a quick backup there. Nobody cares in Tennessee. You get people that listen.
That's true.
From
That used to live-
random areas.
I do. Yeah, we do.
I have
That's
sisters
true.
out there, so they
Oh.
care. They
There
care.
you go.
Okay. All right. So now you're going to help us break the Tennessee audience, and we're going to see this influx of people wanting to know more about Tehachapi. We do actually have people that used to live here in Tehachapi that have moved other places that listen to kind of just feel and you know, keep in touch with the community, which is cool. But this is the reason why we do it, is to talk about, you know, the things that are important to us. Recreation is one of the most important things in our lives. We should be able to enjoy recreation because that's what relieves stress. That's what brings families together. There's so many important parts and components of community that are based around recreation. So thanks for the work that you guys do.
Thank you.
Oh, happy
you.
to do it.
Yeah. Ashley, anything in closing?
No, thank you for all you do. We partake quite often, so.
Exactly. All right. So it's tvrpd.org. Find all this information that we've talked about. If they do have a question, what's the general email that people can send to? Do you have an info at?
Yeah, info@tvrpd.org.
Okay. So if you got a question on anything that we've talked about, you can address it there.
Yeah.
If you miss it, you can always send it to media@tehachapicityhall.com. We'll make sure we get it to either Taylor or Brenda or Corey. And guys, just appreciate the time. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having us on.
Thank you.
All right, folks. If you have a question, send it to us, media@tehachapicityhall.com. We appreciate the time you spend with us, and we'll catch you again soon right here on Tehachapod.
Tehachapod is a conversation about Tehachapi, featuring the community members who make this such a special place to call home. If you have a question or a thought you'd like to share, email media@tehachapicityhall.com. Thank you to Gary Mazzola for sharing his song, This is Tehachapi.